Joining me live in the studio is the Assistant Minister to the Prime Minister, Patrick Gorman. Patrick, thanks for your time. On the environmental law reform, the Minister's convinced he's going to get it through the Parliament this week. Would you prefer to be doing the deal with the coalition, given the compromise likely you'd have to make with the Greens to get it through?
Well, my view is actually the bill as it stands is in a form that the Greens and the coalition could vote for right now. It is better for the environment than the current laws. It is better for business than the current laws, and it will create more jobs and more economic activity throughout Australia. Now, we're happy to have the conversation with a range of senators, the Greens Party.
In WA, your resources sector, and we saw Jim Chalmers last week say, please urge the coalition to back it. If you back it if you get it through with the Greens support, does it undermine the bill because you don't have that bipartisan support?
Oh, look, I mean, this started from the coalition's work. This was a report. The Graham Samuel report was handed to Sussan Ley when she was Environment Minister. I think it's for them to explain why they're not voting for the bill. It's not for me to explain. But yeah, we did have the Treasurer in Western Australia last week. We had the Prime Minister brought the whole ministry down to Bunbury, where there's huge opportunities when it comes to renewables, huge opportunities when it comes to critical minerals. And it's a part of the world which would benefit, and the environment of the southwest of WA would benefit from these laws passing. I know there have been a number of business representatives from the West advocating for this bill to pass. I welcome that.
And so that'll be your first priority, is to get the deal done with the coalition, and the fallback is the Greens?
Kieran, I'll go back to what I said, which is my view is that the bill in its current form is entirely reasonable to expect that the Greens and the coalition could support it. It is a good bill. It comes after 5 years of consultation. We had the Samuel review. We've had discussion in the Parliament. We've had 2 elections. We have had inquiries. We've had everything you could expect. Huge number of environment and business groups consulted. This week, it's time to get it done.
The net zero bill, Barnaby Joyce's bill, is back for debate today. It takes on a different complexion this sitting week, given the events of recent days. But is this a risk for the government that they've actually got their timing right on this, when you look at the lack of momentum internationally off the COP last week?
Oh, look, I don't know. You have to be a very good spin doctor for the Liberal Party to say that Barnaby Joyce's bill from the backbench is somehow good for their leader, Sussan Ley. I mean, clearly it is the backbench of the National Party that is driving the entirety of coalition policy development. Now, when it comes to COP and COP31, I mean, we've been really open about the role we think Australia could play. We've been asked to play a role with Chris Bowen leading as the negotiations president. That's a good thing. Australia always steps up on the world stage and does our bit.
Is he then a part-time Minister on Energy?
Well, I think we've
That's what Sussan Lee's saying, that he should be focusing all his attention on getting power bills down, which are yet to follow the promise made by the government at 2 elections back.
Yeah, well, I would say to anyone who thinks that what happens in the world doesn't impact Australia to explain that logic. And if that's Sussan Lee's logic, I don't get it. Because clearly what happens at these international negotiations impacts on Australia. Having Australian front and centre, and someone with the expertise of Chris Bowen, who's served as our Climate and Energy Minister, getting our legislated framework for making sure we get emissions down in Australia, delivering on practical things like the cheaper household batteries so people can keep more of their own energy. All of those things make a difference.
You've done that, but you haven't got the power prices down. That's the one missing piece, and it's a pretty big missing piece in the puzzle, isn't it? Both the households and industry as well.
Well, when we saw the international events that led to energy price spikes, we took action. We gave assistance to households through energy bill relief.
It's not just international. It's a
range of factors. And
transmission rollout.
Yeah,
it's all of that stuff.
Times,
the renewable build, it's all adding to this cost.
Yeah, when we came to government, we were really open about the challenges where you'd had a whole range of coal-fired power stations announce their closure, but the coalition, at different points in time, where Barnaby Joyce indeed was sitting there as Deputy Prime Minister, Sussan Ley was sitting there as Environment Minister, they weren't putting together a plan. They were put together multiple plans, but they never actually landed on one. And that meant there has been a lot of catch-up for Australia to do just to get the energy we need into our grid.
But as a party, former party official yourself, can you see the vulnerability here if they get their act together? Because if they can nail it and get some unity, they can target the cost of living question, again, that prices question, unless you deliver on the promise that's been made now for years.
Oh, look, I think Australians know that there have been a range of international factors, and including the global inflation pressures that have put pressure on a range of bills for households. We've focused on cost of living relief in a range of different ways where we can do it without adding to inflation. That's what we did with the power bill energy rebates. It's what we're doing with our HEX relief that starts this week, where 3 million Australians are about to get that very special text message telling them that 20% has been wiped off their HEX debt, but without putting inflationary pressure into the market.
Can Chris Bowen,
question.
Can he do both jobs? Can he be a COP negotiations chief and an energy minister?
Definitely.
He can do both?
Definitely.
Stay in the cabinet?
Definitely.
On the
Chris Bowen has all of the skills you need to do that important international role. I'm always proud when I see Australians stepping up on the world stage. And I think sometimes when there's a bit of a Team Australia moment, it wouldn't hurt for Sussan Ley to show some leadership and just for once back Australians who are doing an important role on the world stage.
She's obviously trying to shore up her own job at the moment, given the news poll. Where things are at the moment, is it a challenge for the government to avoid a sense of hubris?
Oh, look, I think, I've sat on panels where I've sort of said maybe I don't think the polls are as bad as they indicate they are, when people would question where things have been for us in the past. I think polls are never as good or as bad as they might appear on the front page of a newspaper. You've always got to earn the next election win. That's
your
focus.
Fellow West Australian, Andrew Hastie, looks like he's chipping away though, gradually increasing his support.
Well, but is he actually he's spent the whole year saying that he wants to be leader. Andrew Hastie has spent the whole year saying he wants to be leader, but now really the question is he going to put up or is he going to shut up? I mean, realistically, does this guy have the ticker, and does this guy have the courage to actually nominate for the job he says he wants?
That's a big call, questioning the courage. Former SAS soldier.
Politics is a tough game. And I'm just questioning, does he have the courage to stand up for the job that he's been saying all year he wants? And I guess we'll know at the end of this week.
Patrick Gorman, Assistant Minister to the Prime Minister, thanks, appreciate it.
Thanks, Kieran.